November is National Native American Heritage Month, a month set aside to recognize the significant contributions the first Americans have made for our country.
We here at Rocky Mountain Red-Handed would like to do our part and shine a light on a few of the heartbreaking cases of missing and murdered Indigenous women. These women cannot be forgotten, and we hope by sharing their cases we can help bring them justice and comfort for their loved ones. This is the story of Amy Lynn Hanson from New Mexico.
The Rocky Mountains hold many mysteries.
Millions of people enjoy the natural beauty,
but some come across the hidden dangers.
This is Rocky Mountain Red-Handed.
I'm Becky, here with my gorgeous friend Melanie.
The stories we share are remembered by some, but forgotten by many.
So let's dive into Rocky Mountain Red-Handed.
Hello, friends. Thank you so much for being here. We hope you are all doing well today.
Yeah, I hope everyone's happy and healthy. Thanks for joining us here.
Yes, so Rocky Mountain Red-Handed is growing each week, so please keep sharing with friends and family. Rate and review on Apple Podcasts. It really helps us out. Okay, so we are going to give away another t-shirt.
So excited.
Yeah,
It's so fun hearing from everyone, isn't it?
Every time I get a new picture of somebody that shared our post or anything, it just means so much to us every single time, you guys. So we really appreciate it so much. It really is helping us grow, especially these Indigenous women stories and the ones that are unsolved. We really want to get out there, let people know about them, hopefully maybe do a little bit to bring some closure for these families.
Oh, even if we could just help a little bit just to show our love and support to these families. Absolutely.
Yeah, so we really appreciate it. So our winner this week is Kaylee from Montana.
Hi, Kaylee.
Yeah, so I will send you a message. We'll get your address and shirt size and get that in the mail.
Thank you to all of our listeners and supporters in Montana. We appreciate you guys.
Thanks so much.
Yeah, so just be sure that you are connected and you are subscribed and following us on all the social medias. You can get all of those on our link tree. So just make sure you're connected. That's how you can see these pictures and everything that Melanie posts. Melanie does all the social media and she does a really good job. Thanks, Melanie.
I'm working on it, Becky. It's a work in progress. Before we get started, we would like to offer you a heads up. Today's story contains details that might be difficult for some to hear. Though we always put great care and respect into each of our cases, the true stories do often explore physical violence, sexual violence, familial violence, suicide ideation, and other content that may be upsetting or triggering to some.
Please take a moment to decide what is best for you. If you or someone you know needs help with emotional and or crisis counseling and resources, please dial 988 in the U.S.
Ask for help. You are not alone.
So without further delay, let's get to our episode today, Mel.
Okay, let's do it. This month, our focus is very specific. November is National Native American Heritage Month. We thought it would be a good time to focus our efforts and spotlight cases of Indigenous women in our Rocky Mountain states.
So today we'll be telling you the story of Amy Lynn Hanson from New Mexico. Her episode's name is Tohatchi's Amy.
But first, we've had a few messages from listeners asking about what Missing and Murdered Indigenous Women, or MMIW, is, like what this organization does. So let's take a few minutes and talk about this amazing organization.
I think we've mentioned it several times on the podcast.
Yeah.
Of course, this month we've been talking about it quite a bit. It's been brought up. And some of our people were like, hey, we don't know what this is exactly. So we thought we'd take a minute and tell you all about it. So MMIW, which is what it's mostly, don't you think that's how it's referred to the most, stands for Missing and Murdered Indigenous Women. It is a movement that advocates for the end of violence against Native women. Another mission it spotlights is to let people know of the extremely high rates of disappearances and murders among Indigenous people, particularly women and girls.
Compared to other groups of women, the data is staggering. Here's just a few numbers from MMIW as of 2008. About 4 out of 5 Native American women have experienced violence.
4 out of 5. That is 80%. Yeah, nuts. Native women are about twice as likely than white women to experience violence.
Native women face murder rates 10 times the national average.
10 times. The mission statement of MMIWUSA states its purpose clearly: combat the widespread issue of violence against Native people, which leads to the missing and murdered.
It states, quote, "Through our mission, MMIWUSA aims to serve indigenous families in the United States who are affected by violence and poverty. We also aim to protect those who are vulnerable to it in our communities through preventative measures.
Continuing from the mission statement, quote, we serve those who are affected by the loss of a family member to the issue of missing and murdered indigenous women and people, and those who are at a broader disadvantage due to things like domestic violence, addiction, trafficking, and the foster care system, and other issues that are prevalent in indigenous communities.
Continues, quote, we serve those who are experiencing the oppressive cycles of abuse and trauma caused by the history of colonial violence. We serve all Native people, no matter whether they are on or off their home reservation lands.
So our story today, the story of Amy Lynn Hanson, played a part in the early days of MMIW. Her family was the first family to benefit from a Native liaison at the Missing in New Mexico. So we are honored to share her story today.
Our intent is to bring awareness and support to the indigenous communities around our Rocky Mountain states. We really support you and just want to know that our love and thoughts go out to you. And all of these numbers are terrible. So if we can bring any light to it. Yeah.
It's just hard to even wrap your head around that. I grew up really close to the reservation out in the basin, as we discovered in October.
Yes.
Yeah, and I have Indian blood in me. My great-great-grandmother was full Cherokee, so I'm familiar with the challenges that are on the reservation. And yeah, we just wanted to dedicate this month to them and let you guys know that we love you, we support you, and if we can do anything to help spread word of a case, please let us know.
Yeah.
Contact us. We're here to help you. Mel and I stand beside you to bring awareness and stop the violence against women and children in the indigenous communities.
Amy Lynn Hanson was born 3 months prematurely in Albuquerque, New Mexico on March 12, 1989. As an infant, she showed her strength as she fought for each breath that she took.
So my daughter, my one and only amazing daughter, she was born a preemie. She literally felt perfectly. She fit perfectly between, if you put your arm out, I'm doing it, but we're on a podcast, so you can't see. But if you put your arm at a 90-degree angle, she fit from my elbow to my wrist.
Oh.
And she was so, actually, because she was on steroids, she wasn't like a thin, weak preemie. She was like a chunky monkey. She looked exactly like a Cabbage Patch, but she was so small. So yeah,
you know what that's like.
Yeah, her preemie clothes drowned her.
Right.
But she was still chunky because of all the steroids they were giving her.
That's so interesting.
Yeah, these preemies have to be tough. And you know what they told me? Did you know that little girl preemies are tougher than the boys?
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Girls statistically spend a much shorter time in the NICU because girls are fighters.
We are fighters. That's for sure.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah. So sorry about that. But yeah.
No tangent.
We love those little preemies. Amy's parents, Jerry and Bernae Hanson, had to keep Amy in the hospital for 3 whole months. She persevered after several operations to assist her development and growth, and finally she was able to go home with Mom and Dad to Tohatchi, New Mexico.
Tohatchi, New Mexico is a part of the Navajo Nation, and it is located in McKinley County, New Mexico. Its population back in 2014 was around 800 people and remains about that same today. Tohatchi is known as a medical and education hub on the Navajo Nation, and it's located right on Highway 491.
So when Amy arrived home, she met her best friend for life, her big sister, Christy. Christy loved Amy so much and doted over her like she was her own little baby. And Amy did not mind this at all. She loved being a little sis to her big sis. She loved being with Christy.
Amy was blessed to grow up in a very close-knit family. She even had her paternal grandmother, Rose Barney Hanson, who lived just right next door to her family. She was raised to honor her parents and grandparents and just loved them dearly.
Yeah, I don't think I'd ever be home if my grandma lived next door.
Just always be over there. Eat all her cookies, right?
Grandma Boust. Amy was soft-hearted and known as a very gentle soul. She loved holidays and was known for her, friendly and welcoming smile to everyone around her. She used her thoughtful and kind words to soothe the people around her and was a peacemaker for everyone.
She loved spending time with her immediate family and with her extended family. Her favorite family activities as a child were watching movies, playing a good game of tag, and hitting the basketball court.
I love tag. That's awesome. Amy was extremely gifted and she was a very creative artist. She loved to draw, especially a type of creature called a wetsit.
What is that?
Yeah. They had curly, high-heeled boots and hooked noses. She was also a talented caricature artist. She would draw, family, friends, and even teachers, and she was always proud to share her art with others.
Teenage life can be difficult, as we all know, right?
Mm-hmm.
Being a teenager is hard. It was difficult for Amy too, but she persevered through the tough times, and she graduated from Tohatchi High School in 2008. Her family and community were so proud of her.
Yeah, Amy wasn't sure what she wanted to do after high school. Like, I didn't know what the heck I was going to do when I graduated.
Me neither.
It took a little time, yet she gathered her courage and drive, and she decided to attend University of New Mexico, Gallup. So UNM Gallup is located about 30 minutes from Tohatchi, but it felt like a world away.
Amy excelled at college life, and she decided on a major of business administration, which would be a great field for her, right? A lot of business administration graduates go into human resources, and Amy had a great personality for HR.
She really did.
Super friendly.
Being friendly, welcoming, comforting. And I like specifically how our family talked about how she used her words to comfort those around her. And so when I read that, I was like, she'd be perfect at HR.
I would be terrible in HR.
Oh, I'd be way worse than you are.
I don't think so.
I'd be like, you're fine.
Get over it.
So Amy was excelling in life. She was, rocking her time at UNM Gallup. And she earned her associate's degree in 2013. So she planned her next step. She wanted to transfer to UNM Albuquerque, which is about a 2-hour drive away. No, she'd be further away from her family. She knew it was a step that she needed to take.
Thanksgiving was on Thursday, November 27th in 2014. Amy celebrated with her family, and she spent some time the next day, November 28th, with her dad. He would be the last family member to see Amy alive.
Hardly anything is known about Amy's last few days of her life. On November 29th, Christy, her big sis, reached out to her over the phone. Christy asked her if she'd like to meet up and go do some shopping together in nearby Farmington, New Mexico. They always have great sales after Thanksgiving. Black Friday. Mm-hmm. So, Christy wanted to go shopping with her sister.
Amy unfortunately declined Christy's offer. She said she had already made plans to spend some time with some of her friends. She simply replied to Amy saying, quote, "No, I think I'm going to go with my friends," end quote. I just wish that she had decided to go shopping with her sister instead. Maybe she'd still be alive and things would be different. It's hard to know.
I know. The simple conversation with Christy was the last time Amy spoke with anyone from her family.
Unbeknownst to Amy's family, a body was found just outside of Gallup. Unbeknownst to Amy's family, a body was found just outside of Gallup.
And that's where we'll take our first break, though.
Let's do it.
Rocky Mountain Red-Handed is brought to you by Balance of Nature. I love my Balance of Nature. I take it every morning and it makes me feel so good.
I do not like to eat vegetables, so I take my Balance of Nature to be able to get in the nutrients that I need. Go to balanceofnature.com and use promo code REDHANDED for 35% off your first order.
We call it 3 and 3. I take my 3 capsules of veggies, 3 capsules of fruits, and it gives me all I need. So that's Balance of Nature, promo code REDHANDED. Give your brain the natural nutrients, blood flow, and neurotransmitter support it needs to make the fight with depression an unfair fight.
Get stronger daily with Whole Supplement.
Build momentum each day with the Whole Depression Relief Stack, the 3 targeted daily formulas that will help you feel, enjoy, and progress again.
So, how do you take the whole stack?
1. Wake Up Formula.
Take Wake Up in the morning with a glass of water to kick off your day with motivation and energy. Number 2 is the Daytime Formula.
Take daytime around lunch to ensure you have the focus, mood, and productivity to power through the day.
That sounds like something we all need. Number 3, the Sleep It Off formula.
Take Sleep It Off about an hour before you plan to go to sleep for amazing rest and brain support that will consistently set you up for better days.
I've experienced depression since I was a teen. I try to do my best to take care of my mental and emotional health and manage my anxiety and depression. But even with medication, I can find myself struggling some days. I started taking whole supplement just a couple weeks ago, and I already feel like I am giving my body the armor it needs to win the fight each and every day.
The ingredients in whole supplements have been used for hundreds of years. They just haven't been put together this way to help people struggling with depression. There are no proprietary blends and no hidden ingredients in whole supplement.
So here's Adam Steer, founder and CEO of Whole Supplement.
I started Whole Supplement with the mission to help others who, like myself, have struggled with finding relief from depression and anxiety. Our number one goal is to empower everyone we can to make meaningful progress every single day.
So now is the time to take care of your emotional and mental health.
During the pre-launch offer, you can receive the entire Whole Depression Relief Stack at 15% off.
Go to wholesupplement.com and use code Rocky Mountain.
Again, go to wholesupplement.com and use coupon code Rocky Mountain.
Simplify your fight with the whole stack from Whole Supplement. Thank you so much to our sponsors. Now back to our story.
Yeah, so right before break, Melanie told us that unfortunately a body was found just outside of Gallup about the same time that Amy went missing. So a father and son duo spotted a human body just off of State Route 602 and Blue Medicine Well Road in Red Rock, New Mexico. That's about 8 miles south of Gallup. So the body was found laying in an arroyo, which, no, do you know what an arroyo is?
I don't.
I had to look it up. It's really common in the Southwest, our part of the country.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a dried out gully.
Okay.
That happens like when like a flash flood or whatever, you know how it kind of like spreads.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So it's like it's where the water is kind of cut through the earth. So her body was found laying in an arroyo.
The police were contacted immediately by this father and son. Law enforcement arrived and an investigation began. The body was carefully retrieved and taken to the nearby morgue. She was listed as a Jane Doe.
The Jane Doe was attended to, and the cause of death was blunt force trauma to the head. This unidentified woman had a violent death.
Amy's family had no idea at this time that a body was found outside of Gallup. They assumed that Amy had a good time with her friends and returned to school. Well, Amy did not return to school as she was expected to.
Yeah. I mean, she just wanted to go out and celebrate Thanksgiving with her friends. So it was exam week back at UNM, and Amy wasn't there. She was like a dedicated student, and she would have not just not showed up for class, right? I mean, this is right before finals. Christy was the first family member to realize that something was really, really wrong, and Amy was gone.
Amy's family first began the search by contacting every single friend and family member that they could think of, asking if they had any idea where Amy was. They searched the Four Corners region, high and low, just looking for any sign of Amy.
Yeah, and just so everyone knows, the Four Corners region is where New Mexico, Arizona, Colorado, and Utah meet. Mel, have you been to Four Corners?
I haven't been. We live so close to it, but I've never been before. No.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's the only place in the U.S. where 4 states meet up at one point. So a lot of people go out there, they put a hand on one, another hand on one, a foot and a foot, so that you can say that you're in all 4 states at once. Yeah. So, but anyway, it's all reservation land in that region, and it's home to Navajo and Ute indigenous people. So the family just did all they could and just covered that area as quickly as they possibly could.
Yeah. Amy's family searched, and they finally met with New Mexico State Police on Monday, December 8th, 2014. Though the FBI, who holds jurisdiction on the reservation, reached out to Amy's family on Wednesday, December 10th. They asked to meet and told Amy's family about the Jane Doe, who was discovered back on November 30th.
I mean, this is 8 days later. Yeah. A loved one of Amy's was taken to the morgue and positively identified the Jane Doe as their Amy Lynn Hanson. Amy was just 25 years old at the time of her murder.
Amy's car was abandoned at a local tow yard, but her murderer has never been found. The identity of the friends Amy met up with on the 29th have never been released due to Amy's case status being open.
Yeah. As we've seen in other cases, please consider Amy's case as open and active, and they declined to share specific details with the public. Like, obviously, we wish we had more information for you, but the integrity of the case is obviously way more important than our little podcast, right?
Yeah.
We want Amy's killer to be captured and prosecuted to the full extent of the law.
Amy Lynn Hanson was laid to rest in the Tohatchi Cemetery, surrounded by generations of family. She is deeply missed by those who were blessed to know her in this life.
The FBI has a reward of $1,000 for any information that leads to the arrest and conviction of individuals responsible for Amy's death.
Amy was killed on November 30th, 2014, and her body was left just off of State Route 602 and Blue Medicine Well Road in Red Rock, New Mexico.
If you have any information concerning Amy's death, please contact the FBI Albuquerque Field Office at 505-889-1300.
Or you can even submit tips online. We will have a link in our show notes. We need to bring her family some peace. So please, if you know something, say something.
For sure.
So at the end of this, Becky and I were talking before, there is just not a lot of information about this case or a lot of the indigenous cases that Becky looked into. So this is a very short episode because we just don't have the information to share with you. It's just heartbreaking.
Yeah. I mean, I spent literally just as much time looking for information than I did researching information.
Yeah.
There's just no information out there. I mean, I have special subscriptions that let me in on different sites and stuff that isn't open to just, a Google search.
Right.
And there's nothing out there. And this is such a sign that more media attention needs to be given to these indigenous women.
Yeah. And we had talked about maybe trying to make the episode longer, but I think it makes kind of a really good point in that there is not information out there. And if we don't have information, we're not able to spread the word and to help find answers for the family. So we're going to keep it short just to kind of highlight that point.
Well, and let's just pray that the police and FBI have information that they're working on.
Right.
And that this case is just, who knows, maybe next week this case will be solved.
Yeah.
But chances are it's not.
Yeah.
Yeah, so please, share all of our cases, but especially these indigenous women. Let's help these families find the peace they need and that these victims can find the justice.
Yep.
Today, for our Rocky Mountain Redemption, we are spotlighting an incredible organization.
Yes, Strong Hearts Native Helpline is here to assist women in their time of need 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Yeah, as we've said before, Indigenous women suffer from the highest rates of violence and murder in the U.S., yet only a small percentage reach out for assistance, which is fortunate.
Yeah, so their website states, quote, "It's a crisis that has diminished the honored status of women and safety in tribal communities."
Love that. Strong Hearts is developed and run by Native advocates to support tribal communities across the U.S. With input from tribal leaders and Native Women's Council, domestic violence experts, and the Family Violence Prevention and Service Program, Strong Hearts is staffed by advocates with a strong understanding of Native cultures, as well as issues of tribal sovereignty and law.
So here are some of the services offered by Strong Hearts: crisis intervention,
Assistance with safety planning,
domestic violence education and information,
referrals to Native-centered domestic violence and sexual violence service providers,
basic information about health options,
support finding a local health facility or crisis center trained in the care of a sexual assault survivor and forensic exams,
general information about jurisdiction and legal advocacy referrals.
Today, Strong Hearts has become a lifeline to Native American and Alaska Natives impacted by domestic and sexual violence by offering a culturally appropriate, anonymous, and confidential service available 24/7 nationwide.
Indigenous women can receive the help they need by calling or texting 1-844-7-NATIVE. which is 1-844-762-8483, or they can chat online at strongheartshelpline.org.
And that is your Rocky Mountain Redemption.
Yeah. Thank you so much for listening today. We want to remind you to follow us on our social medias so you can see the pictures from this case.
Yeah, we've got some great pictures of that. Actually, this case is awesome. The FBI released a poster for Amy Lynn Hanson, and they actually released it in the Navajo native language. Yeah, so we're going to be posting that poster, and you can actually see the Navajo language. It's really cool.
That's so cool. So you can find all the links for our social medias by visiting our link tree in the show notes. Stay connected. I'll be posting those pictures all week.
Yeah, and don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review on Apple Podcasts.
It really helps us out.
So we will be back next Wednesday, and that will be coming straight from the Rocky Mountains. So until then,
Keep your hands clean.